Hello, Initiate. There is a moment most people never notice. A quiet moment. Not dramatic, not visible, yet decisive. It's the moment when something still feels optional. Not urgent, not necessary, not pressing. That's when the advantage exists. Most people believe advantage comes from speed, or intelligence, or information. It doesn't. Advantage comes from timing, before urgency, when nothing forces you yet, when no one is panicking, when no one is rushing. That is where calm decisions are possible. And calm decisions are almost always better. The majority waits for confirmation. They want the signal to be obvious. They want the moment to be validated. They want proof that it's the right time. But the moment something becomes obvious, the advantage is already gone, because now it's crowded, now it's emotional, now it's reactive. Initiated ones understand this instinctively. They don't move when pressure arrives. They move before pressure exists, not because they know the future, but because they understand human behavior. They know that urgency never creates clarity. It only creates movement, and movement without clarity is how people lose control. This is why most people enter systems at the worst possible moment. They don't enter early, they enter loud, when everyone is talking, when emotions are high, when decisions feel inevitable. But inevitability is the enemy of sovereignty, because when you feel forced, you are no longer choosing, you are reacting. The initiated refuse this dynamic. They don't ask, is this urgent yet? They ask, is this asymmetric? Low risk, low friction, high optionality? That's the real question, because true advantage never looks impressive at the beginning. It looks boring, insignificant, almost pointless. A unit too small to matter, a decision too simple to brag about, which is precisely why most people ignore it. They are waiting for something that feels important. Initiated ones understand something deeper. What feels important is usually already priced in. What feels insignificant is where leverage hides. That's why the first step is always small. Not because it lacks power, but because power grows through repetition. The majority believes freedom comes from big moves. Initiated ones know freedom comes from irreversible trajectories. Once you start moving in the right direction, size becomes irrelevant. Continuity does the work. This is where most people make a fatal mistake. They treat the first step as a test, as an experiment, as something they can abandon without consequence. But the initiated don't start to try. They start to become. Because identity changes first, results follow later. Once your identity shifts, your decisions no longer require motivation. They become automatic. This is why the first unit matters, not because of its value, but because of what it signals. It signals that you have stopped waiting, that you have exited the analysis loop, that you are no longer observing from the outside. You are now inside the system, and once you are inside, everything looks different. Risk feels different, time feels different, noise feels different. You stop asking, should I? And start asking, how do I continue? That question changes everything, because continuation is where power accumulates. Not in bold announcements, not in dramatic gestures, but in quiet consistency. The world doesn't punish late thinkers. It simply ignores them. And it doesn't reward early movers loudly. It rewards them silently, over time. Most people won't miss the opportunity because they are stupid. They'll miss it because they waited for permission. Initiated ones never do. They don't need certainty. They don't need consensus. They don't need applause. They only need alignment. And alignment starts with the smallest possible act. Not tomorrow, not later, not when it feels safer, but now. Because now is the only moment where choice exists without pressure. Meanwhile, start with a Satoshi.